Hello and welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at Bitcoin. Before we jump into the analysis, I'd just like to say thank you for watching the video. If you're enjoying the content, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and why not leave us some feedback down below in the comment section. Okay, so let's get into this. So we were looking at this top move here last night, still looking for the potential of this fourth wave to play out. We were talking about this could have been truncated here, but the target zone that we were looking for was a bit higher up. So now looking at these moves that we've had in here, we can count this potentially as a triangle within this, where we look at this as an A, B, C, D, and E into there. And then effectively this could place our fourth wave location here, in which case we could be looking at the potential that we've actually had a completed fifth wave to the upside here. So there's a couple of ways of looking at this. So we need to just sort of see how this reacts from here, because we can look at this potentially as just a completed five wave move that's fallen short here. However, we could also still see some further extension in this. And what I want to see is if we're looking for this fifth wave to carry on, I wouldn't want to drop below this 20,746. And what we'd be looking for effectively would be to have a retracement down here for a potential 1, 2, and then looking for this to extend a little bit more to the upside. So this is the one option that I'm looking at currently. And what we'd be looking for here is the potential that we've already come down to this 50% zone here. So it is possible we could look to push up directly from this point and carry on to the upside. However, it is also possible that we could look to break down further within this and potentially come down towards the 786 zone of this 20,893. So what we'd be looking for there, if I come in a little bit closer here, what we would be looking for potentially is this all to be an A wave here, this to be a B wave to the upside, and then looking for this move to the downside towards this 20,854. So we are trending down there at the minute. So it'll be interesting to see whether we can find support here. This zone would basically indicate to me if we manage to hold this, what I'd then be looking for is the potential to actually progress back to the upside here. So within this move, what we'd be looking for is if we come down, we're going to see if it's going to hold this zone now. It's managing so far, we'll see. But basically what we'd be looking for is the potential to come back up. Well, we've come down below this point now, so effectively that invalidates this as a potential it's a 1-2 situation looking to progress to the upside. So because we've actually come down here now, what we could be looking for is actually that this fifth wave has completed here. And alternatively, so if that's the case, what I'd be looking for is evidence that we're actually starting this bigger fourth wave drop now, because we're still looking for a move that's comparable with this wave 2 here. And if that's the case, what you'd be looking for is if I come and I take this fib off the bottom of this move here, and we throw it onto this high point up here. This has changed our targets slightly. I'm going to move this down and readjust it. Effectively then now our target zone, if we're looking for this as a completed move here, would be to look to come down towards this 20,000. Well, this range is quite broad now because of the fact that we're in a we've had quite a strong wave 3. So what we'd be wanting to be aware of is that we sometimes when we get a strong wave 3, we might get a wave 4 that might not come back down to these points lower down, like the 382, which is this 19,335, and this 0.5, which is this 18,701. If we do, however, have a regular type of a fourth wave where we come down to these levels, an interesting zone would actually be this 50%, especially if we do so in a zigzag, because that also would tie in with this previous wave 2 if we were looking at this as an extended wave 5 within this wave 3. So if this is the case and we have actually looked to complete into this high point here, it is possible that we could actually look to break down towards this zone here of this 18,701 as a 50%. So we're going to have to see how this progresses, because I'm also being a bit cautious with this move because we can count it slightly different, and basically we'll go over that now. If we fail to break below this point here, of this 20,225, it is also possible that we could look at this move as in a different light. And what we could actually look at is that potentially, I'm going to actually leave that on there, but I'm just going to draw some other trend lines here. I'm going to make them a different color. Let's make these yellow. There's also the potential that we could have had just a bigger triangle developing here. So this is looking for the potential that we could have a bigger triangle developing for actually this wave 3. Like we were saying, there was potential that we could count this wave 3 into this position here. So if we were forming a bigger triangle here, that would actually tie in with making a structure that is comparable with this wave 2. So until we sort of break below this low point, what was it? Of this 20,225, we need to be aware that we could always see some further sideways movement here, and this could potentially become a bigger triangle, where instead of looking at it, we look within this internal legs here as this triangle being the other way around, where this is an A, B, C, D, E, and then we broke to the upside. So effectively, this would just become, within this move, this would just become an A, B, and a C. So that would make our B wave leg. So what we would be looking for then is the fact that we could form something to this effect, where we have this as an A, this is all as a B, and then we trend to the side for a bit longer, where we form a C wave, a D wave, and then an E wave. And then we still look to break up one more time for that fifth wave. So this is just something we have to be aware of. We've come down below that point, so I wouldn't see it extending the way that we were initially looking at. And it does look to have reached that impulsive trigger area. So we'd be looking at this potentially as a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, looking for a fifth wave still, in my opinion. We'll have to see if that happens. Let's just get it on this high point. I just want to see if it reached that 1.618. So we actually haven't reached this 1.618 yet. So it is possible that this could actually just reverse here and push back to the upside, in which case we'd have to look at the potential that this triangle could also be slightly smaller, if that is the case. So if we fail to progress down with another fourth wave, and we come back above this zone here of this 21,132, it is possible that actually we've completed into here, and we could form an additional leg to the upside, where we just form another structure here as an ABC, and then we form another one to the downside as an E wave, and then we actually look to push up from there. So we need to give it a bit of time. I don't want to call this as a completed move yet, in case it does have further extension within this. If we do actually move past that 1.618, which is that zone of, let's put this on here, this 20,604, what we'll have to monitor here is whether we get a fourth and a fifth wave to the downside, and then see how we retrace to the upside. So like I said, we could potentially be completed into this point here. So we need to be aware that this could look to start breaking down from here. So if we take this A wave low at that 20,224, effectively what we could be then doing is looking for that fourth wave to the downside. This move, like I said, hasn't reached hasn't quite reached that 1.618 yet. So it is possible that it's still extending within itself. And we will reach it. But if we do form this as a 5-wave move, what we'd be looking for effectively from here is a 1, 2, we'd look for that 3, 4, and a 5. And then we'd want to see how this retracement happens. If we come quite deep, then it would be possible that our 1-to-1 wouldn't cross this A wave. However, if we do form a 5-wave move here, we'd have to just be careful about coming back up and then effectively coming down and taking this low point and then looking for a deeper 5-wave move. If we just plot this out roughly, what we could be looking for, if we come down to this 1.618, we could be looking for a move potentially. Let's have a look. Potentially down here towards this zone of this 20,556 to this 20,467. So this is depending exactly how deep this comes. If we get extensions within this wave, it will actually skew this and will actually come down deeper. So if we do get this come down to that 1.618 zone, then we'd be looking for that additional fourth and fifth wave, and then looking to see if we can still form a bigger triangular structure here, where this is basically an A, B, C, D, and then an E wave, and then we look to break to the upside. If we do move sideways here and we start to form a much bigger structure, I would then be inclined to think that actually this third wave is actually completed here, and that we're forming this triangle as part of this white fourth wave, because technically speaking, it has already come down into this zone here. And this is sort of a minimum requirement. And when we have a triangle, often they won't come as deep down within this typical retracement zone. So we need to just be aware that we could actually be doing that. It needs a bit more time to play out. And once we start to get a bit more structure here, it'll become a bit more apparent. Like I said, if we hold this A wave low here, then it's possible that we could still develop within a bigger triangle here. So these lines could come sideways a bit like this, and then we could form a triangle like this. However, we would only get confirmation on that D wave touch point. So either if we fail to complete a 5-wave move here, we can still count this as an ABC to the downside. So then we could be looking at an A, B, C, D, but then this is only valid for as long as we stay in this range of 21,439 and this lower range of 20,225. If we break either above this or below this, then it would indicate that there's some other structure going on here. And what we'd have to be looking for is the potential that we're actually still within this. We're still within this 5-wave move, and the only way that would make sense then is that if we are forming some kind of a diagonal structure here, and what we'd be looking for then is effectively the potential that if we do form a diagonal within this, what we would be looking for is the possibility of forming this basically as a wedge-shaped pattern to the upside. It would most likely be contracting if that's the case. Where this becomes a 1, 2, then would form another zigzag to the upside here for 3, 4, and then a 5. Yeah, it just needs a bit more time to play out because we're kind of right in the middle of this move. This does make a 5-wave move. Either we're starting to break down from here, and if we do form bigger structure, I'd be looking towards the bottom end here of this sort of this wave 2, this 18,701 and this 19,335 zone. If, however, we form a triangle up in this zone, what we'd be looking for is finding support above this area. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there because we need to see how this move reacts from this point, whether we get a smaller triangle within this, or whether we've actually completed into this high and we're going to start to break down here. If we are starting to break down, wouldn't be expecting a move back past this 21,439. If we do, then it would indicate that we have a different structure here, and we'd have to reevaluate it. Like I said, if in that case, we'd have to look at the potential of a diagonal to complete, and we'd be looking to potentially push back up into this zone, or even to come up and touch this channel line here. So we'll give it a bit of time. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. Hope everyone enjoyed the video. If you're enjoying the content, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and why not leave us some feedback in the comment section below. Turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and until we see you in the next one, take care out there, everybody.